When we say save the planet, it's bullshit. You're eating vegetables from Iceland, but they're not completely vegan, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if I see Italian people changing in this direction. Don't study environmental sciences if you don't want to have climate anxiety. More people means more change. By bringing together people with the same mindset, can create more hope.
Hi, Sarah. How are you?
I'm good, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. How do you like to be presented?
So I'm Sara. I just got the nickname of Selva because when I travel there are too many Saras, so these are two names kinda. I'm traveling. I've been traveling for some time, and I studied environmental and natural sciences. So I don't really not know like how to be presented, but mostly like as a environmental enthusiast, and then also like a traveler.
Okay, what motivated you to study environmental sciences?
I think I always been quite sensitive to this topic. I grew up like in the countryside. I've been like dealing with nature, and like the climate crisis that we're having right now. It got me like thinking, especially during high school. So I know that something that I would like to do in my life is like to protect the environment. And sometimes I think we can do a lot as a singular person, but we need to study the problem as a whole to understand better how to deal with it. So after high school, I took a gap year. I was volunteering. I met other people that were studying this subject, and I was like, okay, it makes sense. I could study environmental sciences, but mainly like yeah, to protect the biodiversity, and for this reason.
So you like traveling. How someone with a background of environmental sciences can travel sustainably? How you deal with it? What are the main things that you consider while traveling to have a less impact on the environment?
I consider like slow traveling, so I like to travel, but like staying in one place for different months. So if I, because nobody's perfect, of course, it would be better to travel by train, by bus, and that's something that, of course, I prefer. But if you're traveling to some islands, for example, maybe you need to take a flight or a ferry because ferries are not super sustainable. But I think you can kind of give back. Like, of course, you're emitting emissions, but by staying in a place for a long period of time and maybe by volunteering in that place, so giving back to the community, that's something that can help traveling in a sustainable way. Of course, if you can manage to travel by public transport or like maybe by hiking, a lot of times I just hitchhike around. There are people that are already traveling by car and you're just like getting a ride. I think that's really cool. But even if you take a flight, but then you spend 6 months in that place volunteering, I think that's something that can, how you say, balance your impact.
Yeah, you're volunteering in Ecovillages mainly, right?
Yeah.
Why do you like to do that? What is the role of Ecovillages today, whether in Italy or in the world?
Uh, I like to go to eco villages because usually there are, I don't know, like the goal of the place is something I really like because it's about sustainability, not only for the environment, also from a societal point of view. So like sustainability between people. So build like community in which we kind of fight the individualism that usually is really into our society. Is Yeah, I like this goal. And actually, I started going to eco-villages thanks to my high school teacher that introduced me to this while I was studying human sciences. Then I found out about eco-villages. I got really excited about it, and I started to go a bit around. But yeah, mainly I think the role of community eco-villages, but also like sustainable communities in general, is to bring people together. Because sometimes when we see there is a problem, like for example, the environmental problem is huge and can create a lot of anxiety, a lot of bad feelings, and maybe we focus on as I say before, like on our impact, but by sharing like the same goal, by bringing together people with the same mindset, can create more hope and actually more impact, so more something that we can actually more change. Yeah, I guess my English is a bit broken, but
No, it's perfect.
um, so like going to eco-villages kind of, I don't know. First of all, like if you're as me, that is a bit anxious about this stuff, like going there and meeting other people that care about the same thing that you care about, my God, it's such like
Like-minded people.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Like it's life changing. Like your mood can change completely. You get more into this hopeful aspect. So like in this way, you can actually be more positive and do more. And also like more people means more change and yeah, Eco Villages. I think I feel like maybe they will be kind of the future, not only Eco Villages, but just this going back to not going back to the nature, because it's not that we're going back to the nature, but going back to living.
In communal
Yeah,
ways, in
yeah,
groups.
yeah. I think that that will help. Like sometimes I think about cities and you have so many people and there could be so many connection, but nobody knows each other. Like, so yeah.
Yeah, you spoke about being in eco villages gives you hope. How do you deal with climate change? How do you avoid to have climate change anxiety when you have the knowledge about environment, other than connecting with like-minded people?
Uh, uh, so don't study environmental sciences if you don't want to have climate anxiety. That's the first thing I think. Uh, no, but yeah, really like for me it helped. I was like doing some activism, then volunteering. This helped because you feel like you know you can be. That's something I heard somebody. I think in Extinction Rebellion said it was like negative in your mind because you're realist and you know what's happening, but positive with your hands. So you can be positive with the thing that you actually do. Um, so like just by engaging with the community and even if you can also be a critical consumer, of course, or like having like doing some activism. All these things are really small, but I think can make a change. And also creating conversation. I think I don't know, like since these years that I'm interested in this topic, I saw that what changed the most, I think, is just engaging in conversation, making more people aware about what's happening. I think that's something that, yeah, that's a game changing. But climate anxiety, I have no idea. But also the other people that I studied with, we all were like, especially when our professor like of climate change, ecology, they were telling us about loss of biodiversity and everything. It was such negative news. So there is a friend of mine. She got like or her Instagram profiles that were bring a positive news that happen
Mm,
in the world. So
yeah,
maybe you can
yeah.
do that. I'm maybe too masochist. I'm not doing that, but maybe that's something that could help.
Nice idea. Yeah, I saw some accounts that share positive
Yeah,
news about the environment. Yeah, that could work.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
from Italy. You're vegan. How is it to be vegan in Italy? And have you, as you traveled in other countries, have you seen any difference between being vegan in Italy or in other countries?
Yeah, yeah, for sure, yeah. In Italy, it's easier. It's easier. Some years ago, it was a bit more difficult. Like now, if you go to supermarkets, you find so many affordable vegan products. It's way easier than it was before. Even if you go, yeah, you don't need to go to fancy supermarkets if you want to buy a vegan burger or something like that. So now it's easier, but still, like we have such a strong tradition on cuisine.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes they can be a bit more harsh with people. Like it create a lot of discussion. Like amongst Italians, I think it's something that just saying that you're vegan or like maybe you're trying to be vegan, something like you don't even need to be vegan. Just like vegetarian stuff, but you can create some discussion. like I was studying in Parma, and like there were so many jokes on me studying in Parma because Parma is so famous for the Parmigiano and the Parma. So every time I was saying, "Oh, I'm studying in Parma," like people were just making jokes. But yeah, that's the least important thing. So, but I don't know. I don't know if I see Italian people changing in this direction. Maybe I saw in my generation more people being flexitarian, something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
it's such a it's more a cultural thing. It's so strong that there are more vegan products, I think, because people are more open to idea to try. But I don't know how many actually vegan people there are. Some years ago, I remember it was like around 4%, something like that, of Italians. But now I have no idea. But
Yeah, I
for my
feel there are
personal
more
experience,
vegetarians. Is
yeah.
more, yeah.
But
Also
also
because
this is,
the
oh, sorry.
Mediterranean diet is more vegetarian, so it's easier for
Yeah,
people to be vegetarian in Italy than
yeah.
vegan.
I was about to say that, yeah, for the Mediterranean diet. Yeah, also a lot of people also maybe are pescatarians, so they eat fish, all these kind of things. Also, in Italy, the cool thing about the vegan diet in Italy is that it's easier because we have so much food, like so much vegetables, so much legumes. Also, like in traditional recipe, you have so like uh, for casual vegan recipes, like traditional vegan recipes. So that's nice. For example, now that I'm in Iceland, it's so much more difficult because they have to import the vegetables or the vegetables that grow here. They are in this heated greenhouse that they are heated by geothermal activity, so that's cool. But the problem is that they have to import the pollinators. So you have these bees that are imported from, like for example, Netherlands, from other countries. And then these bees have like a short span of life, like 6 weeks, the bumblebees. So you're eating vegetables from Iceland, but they're not completely vegan, I guess. Um, so it depends also where you are, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes I feel from the Mediterranean countries we forgot how much it's a privilege to have that many diversity in veggies.
Yes. I miss it so much that I cannot wait. No, really. But yeah, in Italy, I think it's quite easy to have a vegan diet. Of course, if you don't have health problems. Of course, if there are some conditions that maybe it's not easy, but uh, yeah, for me, it's been quite easy. Also, when I was vegetarian, then I transition, it's not so much of a problem. So if you go beyond the cultural reason not to turn vegan, let's say, uh, then yeah, it's okay.
If anyone is considering taking a first action to care about the environment in their daily life, what would be the first advice that you would give them?
Oh, oh, okay. I mean, the basic, a
Basic,
person who
yeah.
never
It's
heard
very
about the
basic.
environment. Okay. I mean, I think to start is nice critical consumption. Even if it's something I believe in, but not so much, because then you have found from the government and a lot of other stuff that impact. But still, you're as a consumer, you kind of have a choice. So just to start by, okay, now I start to care about the environment. I take maybe, I don't know, you can do it, you can also not do it, but I go to the supermarket to buy something and just look like how many options do you have, and now for me there are too many options, but anyways, how you can maybe choose something that is more sustainable. There are some certification that are nice and some certification that are fake, like
I mean,
not fake, but
greenwashing is everywhere.
yeah, like if you take like something that is certified as a B corporation, there is like this logo B corporation, that's really good certification. Then there are some companies that just put like natural, and you're like, what the fuck? Because it doesn't make sense. Um, but actually, I think to just get informed about this, there are so many. Also, if you want to go like on YouTube, for example, there are so many people talking about critical consumption or what to choose. And that's something I started with when I first started, like when I was a teenager. I just stopped like before, like I turned vegetarian. But even if you don't want to do that, I stopped, for example, buying fast fashion. So I didn't buy any more new clothes. I was just going to second-hand stores. Like these are like basic things, but to start with, and then
Yeah,
maybe after
important.
you discover all of these, you can read about like the news about the environment, maybe engaging with some people, seeing like what organization there are in your area, in your city, and create a bit of connections. So yeah,
Yeah, getting informed, I think, is very important. Do you
yeah.
think there is hope for the planet?
I have to think yes.
I feel like my theory is that the planet will regenerate anyways, just we will have the extension of human beings.
Exactly, exactly.
It's not for the planet, it's for us.
Yeah, I absolutely, yeah, I agree absolutely. Like the planet survived so many things. Like it has been here for so many years. When we say save the planet, it's bullshit. It's like save ourselves because it's our species that will get extinct. So for the planet, yes, I have hope. Actually, yes. For the human species, kinda, yeah. We there are still some
Let's
things
hope
that
for
we
the
can.
best.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Thank you for this conversation. It has
Thank
been a
you.
pleasure.